Good afternoon, YouTube, or hello, YouTube. Uh, so this is PM session approach on Nasdaq. I'm gonna be showing Nasdaq only. The last video that I posted, it was Asia session model. It was Asia ATM model, but then now specifically it's gonna be PM session only. So let me just get straight to the video so that it won't be long. So this picture right here, just to be clear, I'm not the one who wrote all of these rules. It is Gary Trades. So shout out to him. So I was just lazy. I didn't want to take too much time writing all of these. So like, let me just take this and then, you would read it for yourself. So you can just pause the video and read this, and then I'm just gonna, you know, okay, let me just explain. I'm gonna be showing this PM session ATM window from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. So this is the execution. This is the time where I'm allowed to trade. The range window is from 11:30 to 1:30. You're gonna see as I'm going to show the examples. So this is just a model, whatever you use. So in this case, this was Monday, 24 August, Monday. So the PM session model, the ATM model. What was the rules? From 11:30 to 1:30, you wanna see your highest high and your lowest low. So you can go back to that picture. So if you find your highest high and your lowest low, what's your rule? You wanna see the high or the low being taken out to then target the high. So in this case, I wanted to see this low being taken out, this low to then target that high. But this low was not taken out. Actually, price created that SMT with ES or SPX. And then what did price do? It displaced up, closing above this down close candle. So this one would be my entry at the retracement of that. Price created that inversion again. So that could be your entry again there to target what? These equal highs and also this New York lunch high. So that's how it works. You wait for 11:30 to 1:30 and then you mark out your highest high, lowest low. After that, you want to see price taking out a high or a low, and then you also compare it to a correlating market. If this one does not take this high, check if the other one did to then target that high. So this is how it works. So in this example, I did not put that, those vertical lines, but what did price do? This was my highest high from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. So this was my highest high. From 1:30, price came and took this high, which is the ATM high. This was okay. You see right here, this is the 11:30. So this low was my lowest low. This high was my highest high. So 1:30 starts somewhere here. Price comes and takes out this high to then what? Target the low. So you wanna see there was no SMT here. So both market did take out these highs. So price did what? There was also this standard deviation right there. So I'm expecting price to drop after taking out the ATM high. What's the rule or the entry model? Inversion gap, market structure shift, you can choose. So in this case, there was an inversion gap right there. So you can enter after this inversion gap. So I actually entered here after price. This black candle, which is this candle, took out this high, and then the next one failed to reach the 50% of that week. So that's a bearish sign for me. So from this high to this low, I did the OTA thing, and then that's actually the entry for me to then target the Asia low. That was not the Asia low, the ATM low, I meant to say. So in this example again, what's the rule? I wait for 11:30 a.m., 1:30 p.m. After that, highest high, lowest low. I'm done. And then from 130, I want to see price taking out the low or the high. So in this case, I wanted to see the low being taken out first to then target the high. But the low was not taken out. But ES did take out the low, which is S&P 500. So there's that SMT. So it's like, in other ways, this one took out this one. But actually it did not, because there's SMT. But ES did take out these lows. So you can also trade ES since you want to follow this. If you want to be strict on your routes, then you can trade the ES. So there was that SMT. After SMT, price took out this, this liquidity. After that, price created that inversion fair value gap. So that's the entry for you to then. So I was actually stopped out in break even right there. But price did play out very well. Actually, this model did play out very well. So that's actually a bonus, or that's a credit that this model played out. I was the one who was stopped at break even. The model played out very well. So yeah, man. So here I'm just gonna skip. Why? Because this is not the PM session. I actually made a mistake. This is the Asia session model, the Asia ATM model from 6 to 7, highest high, lowest low, and then the ATM low taken out to then target the high. But this is the Asia session. Look at the time, 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. So this is the one that I posted in the previous video, 6 to 7, highest high, lowest low, low taken out, and then the high is the target, which is there's another buy side right there, equal highs. Price eventually did go even higher. So there's another example. Time 11:30, 1:30, highest high, lowest low. Price fails to take out the low, but SPX takes out the low. Eh, you know, let me just say let me just say ES took out the ATM low while NQ failed. And then what happens? Market structure shift. Price comes back to this inversion fair value gap. That's the entry. And then what's next? Entry and then target the buy side, which is the ATM high, which is the ATM high. Simple as that. Simple as that. And then this would be your partial. These are relative equal highs. Look at these highs, man. These are the highs that you would want to target. So again, 11:30 to 1:30, that is the range, not execution window. 11:30 to 1:30, you don't do anything. You want to act after 1:30. The only thing that you do, or you must know, that from 3 p.m., that's the time where you no longer do anything. So the entry right here, it was around 150 macro. I think this was macro, something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, man. So this is another example of not doing anything. 11:30, 1:30, 3 p.m. hits. Price did not take out the low or the high. So you don't do anything if price doesn't take out, because there's no SMT. So if there was SMT, if ES did take out the low, then I would enter somewhere here. But ES also fails to take out the low. So there's no entry up until there's nothing here. Price is just going sideways. So this is another example of not doing anything. So the last example I'm gonna show is check the time. 11:30 a.m., 1:30 p.m. From 1:30 I can now start trading up until 3 p.m. So from 11:30 to 1:30 p.m., highest high, lowest low. What happens? Price comes and takes out the low first. So that means I'm gonna target the ATM high. So if when price takes out this low, I wait for what? Inversion fair value gap or market structure shift, or what? Wait for anything that would show you that now price is ready to go up. So in this case, I saw that at this low, as soon as price created that low, this next candle fails to get or to reach the 50% of that wick, that's a bullish sign for me. So from this low to this high, I created, you know, I put the Fibonacci or the OTE fib, and then actually, and this is the 71%, and this is the OTE for me. So I entered there to then target the ATM high, but I got stopped at a break even. But I took partial here and then partial here. Price created that SMT. As soon as price created that SMT, I was like, okay, let me put my stop at the lowest, at the low of this inversion gap, because I don't want to see price getting all the way down there. To then, I was like, nah, let me just put my stop here because I took two partials, so that's enough. Stop here and then, but at the end, after this, price ended up going up again, you know, eventually taking out this high and went even higher. So yeah, man, I actually took some, few losses. Somewhere here entered, somewhere here to stop break even, somewhere there. I don't remember what happened there. And then, yeah, man, this is how it works. So hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you'll back test this, or yeah, man. Peace.